Welcome back to this special edition of Jersey Matters as we continue to cover the 2015 election. I'm Larry Menti. We are joined now by Liz Muoio, who is the county chair in Mercer County. She also just won re-election, so congratulations. You're an assemblywoman. You would join 50 or maybe 51 other Democrats in the new session because you picked up 3 or 4 seats depending on one that's very tight right now. Right. Where does that stand? I know you're not going to call for a recount, but there'll probably be a recount. Right?
Well, right, and it'll be up to the candidates, but right now Andrew Zwicker in the 16th is ahead 29 votes. And there are provisional ballots, obviously, that'll be counted in the different, that race, the 16th, is in 4 counties. So, clearly there are a lot of moving parts, but they've declared victory. I think it's wonderful. He and Maureen Vella were a great team. They worked extremely hard. They were highly qualified candidates, and they ran a great race, a great positive race. And so we're very excited about Andrew's winning election.
Republicans are blaming this on redistricting, on gerrymandering, that you rigged the districts so you could pick up a couple of seats. Is there truth to that?
No, I think people listened to the Democratic message. These were, the districts were drawn in a way that gave the Republicans, the seats they had until this year. And I think possibly they just don't want to accept the fact that I think voters really focused on the Democratic message this year. Our candidates ran on issues such as the economy, the environment, gun control, women's health. And those were issues, especially in a low voter turnout, people that come out are really paying attention to the election. And the message resonated. And I think that's why you're seeing this change in these districts. Our candidates worked very hard, and I think their message resonated.
Are you concerned about low voter turnout? Does it say something to you about how people feel about the process and maybe feel about the assembly or politicians?
It's a concern. Low voter turnout is always a concern. In Mercer, we were a bit ahead of, we were about a little over 24% turnout, a little bit ahead of the rest of the state. But I think it's always a concern for either party that people are not engaging in the democratic process. And they predicted this would be low because it's the first race since '99 that the Assembly were on the top of the ticket. But I think we need to do more as a state, locally, as a state, as a nation, to make sure that people focus on coming out and the right to vote. The Democrats have a voting act that we passed this summer that would try and make it easier for people to get out and vote. And I'm hoping that we can get that passed, but I think it's a concern for everybody when voter turnout is low, and we need to work to improve that.
It's interesting that you said it was the Democratic message that got out the vote. Mm-hmm. Does that mean it wasn't a referendum on the governor?
I'm not going to say whether it's a referendum on the governor or not. I mean, clearly the polls show what the people of New Jersey, what their impressions are of the governor right now. I think that the fact that, our campaign, at least here in Mercer, was not a negative campaign. It was a positive one on the issues. And these were issues that resonate with the voters. And you can look to the Republican record on voting on those issues and decide for yourself whether people are happy with how the Republicans have voted on these, or how they have not stood up to certain vetoes, and how they haven't voted. So I think, it's about the issues and the message. And,
more than the governor?
Well, the governor comes with his own message, and to the extent you support that message and you didn't win, that may say something.
But it's his loss then? This was his, when you say he
he's
didn't win.
He's the top Republican elected official in the state, so clearly there is some, there's some responsibility for this at his doorstep.
What is this going to mean for the next 2 years for the Democrats in the Assembly? You talked about the issues. What are some of the issues that you're not veto-proof at this point, right?
No.
And you're not able.
I think if we pick up the 16th, I think it's 2 seats. I think we'd have to flip to get 2 Republican votes. We would need. I think it is. But clearly, the fact that the Democrats have picked up some seats should send, I would think if I were in the opposing party, I would send a message to me that it might not you know, you might want to think twice before voting lockstep on policies that clearly are not resonating statewide or in your district. That you need to, you need to think twice before you decide not to veto something that you had been in support of earlier, and then decide just because your governor vetoes it that it's a good idea.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Assemblywoman Liz Muoio, also Mercer County Chair Liz Muoio. When we come back, we will have the county chair from Monmouth County, and they didn't do as well in Monmouth County. As a matter of fact, they might be the story of the night in Monmouth County because they lost 2 incumbent Republican seats. We'll talk to the county chair about that when we come right back.